Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. And today we have a requested movie. This is Spirituality in Movies. Brother Curtis has requested Boyz in the Hood as a topic. So we want to get into this movie because, I know when the brothers request their movie, they like to get into it right away. So in this movie, it is in Los Angeles. It is a 1991 movie, and I do not own the rights to this movie. So we have, in this type of movie, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of gang banging. And the first thing that we have to look at is the home for some of these characters. Cuba Gooding Jr. is coming from, living with his father that really cares about him, and we can depict him as the chosen one in this movie. He is the one that, comes from a good background that has to make a choice whether he is going to live by the rules of the street, with his friends, Doughboy or Ice Cube in this movie, or he's going to, be the intelligent one that his father knows that he is. But ultimately, he has to choose for himself, and he has to learn for himself. And this is one of those tough learning lessons that chosen ones must learn when they're young. Okay, so we have also Doughboy, who is coming from his mother, and she is abusive. She's a narcissist. And, she has 2 sons. And she loves one more than the other. She loves the younger son, I think that, and I forgot his name. But I think she loves him more because when Doughboy was, trying to talk to her, and I think something went on in the movie between him and his brother, that she was, looking at him like, what did you do to him? And, you got him into this. It's because of your lifestyle. So first of all, we have to take an understanding from the parental perspective, how the child is raised. Charity starts at home and goes abroad. So in this case with Doughboy, she was the reason that she pushed him into the street, into gang violence, because she did not, love him, and she did not give him an outlet in order to be able to come to her, to be able to thrive. So we understand also that in this movie, that when you love anything harder than God, when you show partiality in your children, then in many cases, God will take away that child that you love so much, or you've shown so much affection to. Okay, so we have this example in the holy books where we have Jacob, making a coat, the coat of many different colors for Joseph. He loved Joseph because he was the younger child. And we have this understanding that his brothers became very jealous of Joseph and wanted that type of affection from their father, and they conspired, to sell him into slavery, and they wanted to also unalive him in this story in the holy books. So we have this understanding that you should not love or show partiality between your children. You should not love anything harder than you love God. Okay, because that thing will be removed away from you. And sometimes it is through violence, and it's through negative tactics. It is through narcissist people. So, in this movie, it was a great job of depicting that type of attack upon the chosen ones, and upon those, the reason why some people cannot come back from, being dark, from going dark, from being a narcissist. Okay, so we have this understanding that this movie was giving the pathways, the 2 pathways of, one that goes to the entity and goes to gang banging for Cuba Gooding Jr. with Doughboy, and one for higher knowledge, higher understanding, going to college, taking a different direction. And you have Doughboy's mother. Everybody could see this type of energy with Cuba Gooding Jr. because she wanted some of that goodness to rub off on her son. But there are many different aspects in this movie, because when you are understanding that the behavior, the environment that has been, implanted, that has been accepted by a lot of the people, that they are not attacking the entity who created the system, who has created this environment where everyone is against each other, that it is a violent situation. The men in this environment are not attacking the entity. They are attacking each other. And so this is one of the greatest takeaways that we have in this movie, that we have an understanding that no one is going anywhere quick because they have not identified the enemy. They think that, each other, the Latinos and the blacks, they think that they are each other's enemy, and those were not the enemy. The enemy was the alcohol, the drugs, and the government that was pumping that type of toxic negative energy, creating that environment. So these are some of the understandings that we have for this movie that is spiritual in nature, that a lot of the prophets from of old, they were able to, see different types of situations, different types of enemies. We have Moses, who knew who the enemy was to him and his people, and he took his right hand and made an end of him, in the holy books. So we want to make sure that when you don't have a leader, when there are no people, when everybody is falling in with that wolf spirit, with that entity where they can do what they want to do, that they don't have to question anything, they don't know who their enemy are, nobody is there to point out this is the way that you go, you don't have a guide, and you haven't accepted God as the leadership. You're not studying God, you're studying what you see every day, what you're coveting. So this is the understanding that you will fall into this type of temptation. You will fall into desire, rancor. You will fall into disease of the heart when you are dealing with the entity and you do not know how to fight the entity, and you do not know, what you should do in your life, and you're just going with the flow. You're not asking any questions. You're not going to church. You don't have a father or a mother. You don't have any leadership. When you're having those types of issues as a person in your life, you have to be able to remove yourself from the environment. You have to allow them to abandon you, and you have to move to an entire different, setting, an entire different place. So, this type of movie, it ruins a lot of the families. It ruins a lot of relationships, because this is what, people think is fun. They think that this is how you're supposed to have, fun with your mate. This is how you're supposed to attract your pair. This is a lot of the problems that we were having at that time, with the entity that had infiltrated a society, an entire society, and pitted each other and pitted the people against it, even inside of the homes. So when you have corruption and negative energy in the homes, then you're going to have it, in the institutions, in the police department. You're going to have negative energy in the streets. And you're going to have disease and loss after loss, in those places until you remove yourself from the situation or until you call out the entity. And I'm looking at 1010 as I was saying that. So, I hope that you receive this. You can go and watch this movie again. I really love this movie because it has a lot of, really good points and qualities for the young ladies and the young men. Guarding your modesty. Not, being the easy catch or easy prey, whether you're male or female. So we have an understanding that, this is a great movie for you to understand and see how these types of entities have infiltrated the society and the home life. Please, I hope that you have enjoyed these types of videos from me. Please reach out to me and let me know what you would like for me to cover on the spirituality in movies. Please like, share, and subscribe to me. You can book your one-on-one consultations or your video chat consultations with me. Reach out to me, book your consultation so I can acclimate a gift to your situation. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.